Coming up on Green Bay Nation, the Packers blocked the Bears and earned the longest win streak in the rivalry before hosting the team that ended their season last year. All that and more next on Green Bay Nation. Hello and welcome back to Green Bay Nation. I'm Lauren Helbrecht. Joining me to chat everything Packers, he's a Packers beat writer for the Green Bay Press-Gazette, Ryan Wood, and he's a radio host for 107.5 and 1400 The Fan, Marcus Eversole. So we're a few days removed from one of the craziest endings in the history of the Packers-Bears rivalry, so I'll put you back in the moment. One final play, Cairo Santos gets in place, ready to take the 46-yard game-winning field goal for Chicago. What are you thinking in that moment, Marcus?
I'm thinking, I can't believe it, but the Packers' winning streak over the Bears is about to come to an end. And that's crazy because it would take a lot to say that, but that's exactly what it looked like. The moment they converted that fourth down, the moment they turned 3rd and 19 into a new set of downs and they moved the ball down the field, I'm thinking the Packers are actually capable of losing to the Bears. And then Carl Brooks had other plans. Even when the Packers try to lose to the Bears, they just can't.
I gotta be honest, my head was about to explode because, see, a little inside baseball. I had a game story that was due at the end of the game, and it changed 3 times in the last 30 seconds. So I went from thinking there's no way the Packers are actually going to lose this game. Keenan Allen catches the sideline ball and put him in field goal position. I'm like, that's ball game. Bears going to win. Start rewriting the game story, right? And then Carl Brooks, with his left middle finger, gets just the tip of the football, and all of a sudden it changes again. So it was a wild game for sure.
I personally thought, I can't believe I almost left with 4 minutes to go set up the camera down at the press conference because I would have missed about 20 minutes of football.
Never do that. Never leave early.
All right, so the Packers had been the better team going into this game. They obviously walk away with a win, but it's a bad win. Is a bad win still good?
Yeah, because it's a win. I mean, at the end of the day, the regular season is about putting yourself in position to get into contention come the postseason, and every win matters. We talk about style points. Style points are not real, and if they are real, they don't matter. Now, you want to see signs that you're improving throughout the course of the season, but they got the win. Like, did I think it would be easier than that? I did. I didn't think it would be necessarily easy. Rivalry games tend to be close. The Bears, as bad as they are, tend to play the Packers pretty tough. But a win is a win. I'm okay with the label ugly win, but there's no such thing as a bad win. The Packers are 7-3 right now, headed into the stretch run, and this is the exact point of the season last year that the Packers made us believers. Nobody was thinking playoffs until week 12. They beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. Week 13, they beat the Chiefs. They got to 500 at that point. This is the time of year they're entering right now. So win however you can and just move forward.
Yeah, being 7-3 is a lot better than being 4-6, which is what they were through 10 games last season, which is why, Lauren, I have to take some umbrage here with the term bad win. There are no such things, as Marcus said, as bad wins in the National Football League. You can look bad and win, but you still win. Any win is good, especially in this NFC. It's very top-heavy. This is a different conference than what we've seen the past few years, where it was maybe 1 or 2 teams, and you kind of knew throughout the course of the season that it's coming down to these teams. It's wide open behind the Detroit Lions, who are the class of the NFC. You've got to win any game by any means necessary just to keep pace. They've done that at 7-3. Now can they clean up the litany of issues that they need to clean up to get to where they ultimately want to get to?
That would be the question. So one of the more interesting things that I found out about this game was that leading into it, special teams coordinator Rich Bisaccia was bullish. The Packers will block a kick in this matchup. He really analyzed whatever the Bears were doing wrong. Something with the A gap is what he was saying, and he knew that they should have a block in this game. Based on how special teams has performed over the season, is this a redeeming game for Rich?
It is, and it's actually interesting. In the Packers' last 3 wins, the special teams was on the field for the last play. 2 game-winning field goals by Brandon McManus, and then a game-winning field goal block in Chicago. It's kind of crazy because of the 3 phases, the special teams is the weakest link. I do have to say, for the Bears, it was coaching malpractice, the way they handled the end of that game, running 30 seconds off the clock, not trying to advance the ball. Cairo Santos does not have a big leg. His kicks tend to be low trajectory, and I just learned he prefers to kick from the right hash. He kicks his extra points from the right hash. They're lined up on the left hash, and Matt Eberflus did nothing about it.
Yeah, if Rich Bisaccia could see that it's a low trajectory for Cairo Santos, it makes you wonder why the Bears couldn't see it. But I got up to the press box after the commotion settled. I was alone in the Soldier Field press box, and it just kind of dawned on me. The Packers actually won a game because of special teams. It's rare you see that. So, yeah, this is something they can build on.
All right, so Matt LaFleur says the team won't apologize for a win. You both said there's no such thing as a bad win. But what is the most glaring issue for the Packers in this game that ultimately they did come away victorious?
Well, I think there's more issues on defense, but on offense, really only the one, and that's Jordan Love's got to clean up the interceptions. The entire game shifted on the interception in the red zone thrown by Jordan Love. They're up 7-3. They have a chance to go up 14-3. I mean, heck, they had 2nd and 1 on the 5 at one point, and then a penalty leads to a bad end around by Jaden Reed. The interception completely changed the game. The Packers probably win that game comfortably if not for that one play. I'm not worried, but they become a pattern with the interceptions.
I think it's problematic on the other side of the ball that the Packers' defensive line still can't get a consistent pass rush. They got to Caleb Williams a little bit at the end, but this was a Bears quarterback, and Caleb Williams sacked more than any other quarterback in the league coming in. A Bears offensive line, yes, they got their bookend tackles back, but a week earlier, without their bookend tackles, gave up 9 sacks. I don't care who you have on the offensive line, backups or not. 9 sacks is 9 sacks. To not be able to get to Caleb Williams was an issue. But a little trivia question. Marcus mentioned the Jordan Love interceptions. Wide open, Tucker Kraft, clean pocket. Only the second time in Jordan Love's career that he's had a wide open, clean pocket interception. Last season against the San Francisco 49ers with Tucker Kraft on 3rd down, cutting across, tips it up to Dre Greenlaw. It's a fluky interception. I think it's going to be interesting to see if he can turn it around.
Well, Ryan, thanks for setting me up, because speaking about the 49ers and Jordan Love's interceptions, he had 2 in that game, and he definitely remembers. Coming up next on Green Bay Nation, this weekend, the Niners will take on the Packers, this time on Titletown's turf for a rematch of last year's playoff game. Welcome back to Green Bay Nation. I'm Lauren Helbrecht, joined by Marcus Eversole and Ryan Wood. So, personally, if I make a mistake at work, I'm thinking about it a little bit, but I'm not spending a lot of time reflecting. But today, Jordan Love was asked repeatedly, what do you remember about the 49ers' NFC divisional playoff loss? That's a game where he threw 2 interceptions. Love said he watched it back 3 times, which isn't a lot more or a lot less than he does normally, but he was definitely trying to reevaluate his play because they're taking on the 49ers again. Ryan, how are these 2 teams different from the last time that they met?
No, Lauren, I don't know what you're talking about, because obviously you don't make mistakes at work. You certainly don't run across to the right sideline and throw late over the middle of the field to nobody and have an interception at the end of the game. So Jordan Love had a lot to sleep on this offseason. I thought it was very surprising. He said that he went back, he watched the game 3 times during the offseason, and then he put it to bed. And he went there today. He said this is a factor, a motivating factor, that they knocked them out of the playoffs last year going into this week. Certainly that's going to be on top of mind, and that's the quarterback's words. I think it's really interesting when you look at this 49ers, this iteration of the 49ers. They're 17th in the league defensively giving up points. This is a defense that you haven't seen this from the 49ers the past few years. They've been top 10 the last 3 seasons, top 3 the last 2. This is a defense they can score on, and it's a very motivated quarterback. That should be good ingredients for this Packers offense.
So despite their 5-5 record, the Niners are still a dangerous team. That's exactly what Xavier McKinney said about this rival of sorts for the Packers. I'd say especially when we talk about their offensive weapons. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, the list goes on. How do you think that the Packers defense stacks up against San Fran's offensive weapons, Marcus?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, certainly the thing you're most concerned about with the Packers defense is their pass rush or lack thereof, and the Niners have a great left tackle in Trent Williams. But you're right about the weapons. I mean, they're basically the Avengers around quarterback Brock Purdy. Now, they lost Brandon Ayuk for the season. He's been out for a while, and he won't play again the rest of the year. And I feel like when they got Christian McCaffrey back a couple weeks ago, they thought that would kind of be the switch that they had to flip, and then all of a sudden they'd look like the Niners again. It's a small sample size, and he might have a big game Sunday against the Packers, but that just hasn't happened yet. Christian McCaffrey doesn't really look like Christian McCaffrey yet. He's even said as much. He says he's not seeing things as smooth as he normally does, and he's coming off an injury where he missed the first couple months of the season, so that's something worth watching. George Kittle, how do you match up with him? That's the question all 32 teams are asking. I don't think there's a good answer to it.
All 32, including San Fran's own
Well,
defense?
I mean, probably in practice, the Niners are like, how do we stop this 85 guy? But
Can't
good
tackle
catch.
him, too. That's really problematic.
Yeah, he's tough.
That is tough. You know what else is tough? The Packers in the red zone this season. Coming up next on Green Bay Nation, we're heading to the locker room to hear why Green Bay has struggled to get the ball in the end zone. Welcome back to Green Bay Nation. Against the Bears, the Packers had 2 trips to the red zone that came away empty, including a Jordan Love interception at the 1-yard line. Even though they won the game, the Packers know they aren't winning in the red zone really just yet. It's time to go in the zone with Shammy Zaire.
Might not be a surprise stat to hear with how this season has gone, but there are only 5 worse teams in the NFL than the Packers at converting red zone trips into touchdowns, and that's why Green Bay almost lost that game to Chicago a week ago. And it's something that this team's signal caller knows they need to clean up with the Niners coming to town.
It's tough. I think it's a lot of just looking at what we've been doing, what defense have been doing to try and stop us, and just trying to find better plays, find out what we can do better. What I can do better to get us in that end zone and get over this kind of the lulls we're having in the red zone right now. I definitely think it's something that's fixable. I think you look at last year, I think we were a lot better in the red zone, and whether that's just the plays we were drawing up, whether we were just finding better options versus what the defenses are doing, or just coming down to making those plays that we might not be making right now. But I'm not concerned about it. I think it's something that we will fix going forward, but it definitely hasn't been up to the standard we're trying to have it at.
Funny enough, the game on Sunday might actually be a war of attrition of who fixes the red zone problem. San Francisco just 1 spot above Green Bay in terms of converting touchdowns when they get to the red area, 7th worst in the NFL. So knowing that Love said it's a fixable problem, how do you think that this team actually fixes it?
Thank you, Cam. Time now for Q&A with Green Bay. That's the classic thing, right? We can fix it. Okay, but how?
It's always the problem, isn't it? It's much easier said than done. The Packers have 38 trips into the red zone this season. They have 9 penalties in the red zone this season. They have a handful of turnovers. That's not a good ratio, but the penalties especially is problematic because in those 38 trips, Josh Jacobs has 24 times gotten a carry in the red zone this season on 24 of those 38. You can give it to him again, though, if you stay on schedule down and distance. When you get behind schedule down and distance, it's hard to stick with the run. It's why he only has multiple carries in 3 red zone trips of those 38. I think Josh Jacobs is the answer, but they got to play clean football to be able to stick with him.
I'm with you on Josh Jacobs. I feel like continue to give him the ball in the red zone. I mean, heck, when the game kind of unraveled or turned the other way in Chicago, Jacobs gained 9 yards on first down. They have 2nd and 1. Then they have an RPO. Love pulls it and didn't have his initial read there, so ineligible man downfield, moved the ball back 5 yards. Foolish end-around call, which Matt LaFleur regretted, and then Love throws the pick. I think Josh Jacobs is at the center, or should be at the center of the solution here. I think Cam hit the nail on the head, though. The Niners struggle in the red zone, too. Very likely that's what this game comes down to on Sunday, is which team can score touchdowns in the red zone.
All right, well, if you want to hear more from Cam and his good ideas, you should join him at Cam's Corner on Sunday mornings during Green and Gold Game Day. To learn more about winning a free stay at the Legacy Hotel, all you got to do is scan the QR code on your screen, vote on who you think will have the best fantasy football week, and 1 vote gives you a chance to win. When we come back on the show, it's time for Challenge or No Challenge, presented by Bayside Machine Corporation. Will the flags fly? You'll just have to wait and see. It's time now for Challenge or No Challenge, presented by Bayside Machine Corporation. Let's see if the flags are flying today. If Marcus and Ryan agree with what I have to say, nothing happens. If they disagree, flags to the floor like Matt LaFleur. You ready to go?
Absolutely.
All right. So, Jordan Love is the least sacked quarterback in the NFL. Meanwhile, the San Francisco 49ers have had 26 sacks forced so far this season. So, Challenge or No Challenge, Love is sacked fewer than 2 times.
So this is 1 or fewer?
Less than 2.
Always a stickler for the details, Marcus. I appreciate
Yeah, 1
it.
or
Better you
fewer.
than me.
1 or fewer.
I'm not going to challenge that. The Packers' offensive line has been good this year. And Nick Bosa, very, very questionable for this game. If he doesn't play, he's probably not going to be sacked as often, so no challenge.
I'm not challenging it either off the eye test. I thought this past game in Chicago is the quickest Jordan Love has gotten rid of the football all season. He's healthier. He's getting out of the pocket a lot better, extending plays. But just hitting the checkdowns, getting rid of it, I think for that reason, I don't think he's going to get gotten too much by this pass rush.
All right, so he's only played in 2 games this season, but Christian McCaffrey is still Christian McCaffrey. And in those games, he's averaged over 106 total yards per game. So challenge or no challenge, CMC leads the game in total yards.
I will not challenge that because I almost fooled myself there. He's a dual threat guy, even though he has not been at his best this year, and he's admitted that. Yards per carry and all that is down, but he's such a threat in the passing game. He's going to get the ball a lot, so I'll say he probably does lead the game in total yards.
I'm going to challenge it just because I like the field in this game. There's so many options, Packers, even the 49ers. And I just don't think that Christian McCaffrey's quite looked like himself yet since coming back from the injury. So I'm going to say someone on the Packers ends up leading in total yards. Don't ask me who.
Who?
Don't ask me who.
Who?
Because this is the offense that they have, right? It could be anyone any given day. I have no idea. I don't have that crystal ball, but not Christian McCaffrey.
All right, so Tucker Kraft only had 1 target against the Bears, 0 receptions, 0 yards. Not his best game, but he leads the Packers in receiving touchdowns. Challenge or no challenge, Tucker Kraft TD.
No challenge. I was really hoping that I could throw these flags, but I'll just throw them at Ryan instead. Yeah, Tucker Kraft is due. He's a touchdown scorer. It's what happens. Tucker Kraft scores.
Tucker Kraft's not going to lead this game in total yardage, but he will get in the end zone. I agree with you, Marcus, and I also would like to throw the flag. So disappointingly, I agree. Touchdown for Tucker Kraft.
All right, when we come back, we'll see if they're still talking to each other after this flag fight because we're getting green and bold to close out the show. All right, it's time to get green and bold here on Green Bay Nation. Week 12, Packers-Niners rematch of the game that kind of crushed the hearts of Packers fans last year. So, Marcus, who do you have winning this one?
I have the Packers winning this one. I do think it could go either way. I think it'll be close. Again, I think red zone scoring, who can score touchdowns, who can't. Both teams have struggled in that department so far this year. These Niners, since they lost in the Super Bowl, though, they seem to be suffering a bit of a Super Bowl hangover, and it feels like they expect to lose close games, whereas the Packers have gotten pretty good at winning close games.
Speaking of Super Bowl, I think they really missed Dre Greenlaw with the Achilles. It's not the same defense without him, with Fred Warner in the middle of the field. I think Jordan Love, here's a bold prediction, he's about to break out. We saw it last year. It looked right in Chicago. He was doing everything that we saw second half of last season. Just get that sense, and I think it starts now. I'm going to take the Packers.
I also have the Packers winning this game. Someone earlier mentioned that the 49ers offense is like the Avengers, but the Avengers get a little older and they get a little slower. And I think that's kind of what's going on with the 49ers right now. They don't really look the same as they have in the past, and the Packers are still the youngest team in the NFL.
So they're reaching their end game.
Oh, that was a good way to close things up
night.
here on Green Bay Nation. For Marcus Eversole and Ryan Wood, I'm Lauren Albrecht. Thanks for tuning in.